For those of you who are new or who have been living under a rock your entire life, a hook is something written that makes the reader want to read more. And if you look up advice on how to use hooks in your writing, you're going to quickly see that I disagree with pretty much everybody else, because I think everybody is using hooks and thinking about hooks wrong. Welcome to How to Write Good. I am your host, Daniel Poppy. You can find out more about me at danielpoppy.com. If it is your first time here, How to Write Good is a writing podcast that seeks to find principles and advice that can be applied across a broad range of writing situations. If you've been here before, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button below, and share. So before we begin, I want to address the rhinoceros in the coat closet. Because if you've been writing for quite some time, when you first hear what I think about hooks, you may pull back and decide that I'm wrong. But even if you do think that I'm wrong, I want to invite you to think about thinking of hooks in this different way, because I think it will be beneficial to your writing. So a hook, for those of you who were born yesterday, is something you use to catch something. The common understanding of a literary hook is a small section at the beginning of a book that piques the reader's interest and makes the reader want to learn more about the world or the character or what is happening in the story, or maybe even all three. This more common understanding of a literary hook has led to an odd phenomenon I see in both writing and publishing. This phenomenon is what I call the obsession with the beginning. Now, I am not saying the beginning of a story is unimportant, but the beginning is no more important than the middle and the end. Each of these is as important as the others. So if we become too concerned with one area over the other area, for example, if we put more energy into the beginning and put less energy into the middle and the ending of the story, what happens is we get beginnings that don't match the rest of our story. Or at the very least, these beginnings don't match the rest of our writing. I've seen a handful of prominent books pushed through by very large publishers that have beginnings that reach so far for something different at the beginning of their books, it makes them look less like well-polished authors and more like posers. For those of you who don't know what a poser is, in skateboarding, a poser is the person who has an extremely nice board, the shoes you need for skateboarding, the clothes a skateboarder would wear, but this person is unable to perform anything on the board. They want the perception that they're able to do this thing when they aren't able to do it. Now, I'm not saying these writers are unable to write. The rest of their books usually prove that they are. But what's been placed at the beginning of the book is some odd form of caricature of what writing really is. I think I understand why this happens, too. After you've completed the final edit of your book and are preparing to send it out to agents, you'll see a common pattern in their submission guidelines. They want to have a blurb about your book. They want to have some information about you and your publishing history. They want to know why you think this book will work. And they want a portion of the beginning of a story. That last piece is extremely important. When you are sending a query to an agent, you are not the only one sending a query. Some agencies get tens of thousands of queries per year. The agent has probably looked through tons of authors already, and they've likely seen hundreds of stories that have begun in the same way. The story that starts in a unique way sticks out. It is like seeing color amidst black and white, and even if that color is pale green and very ugly, it still is refreshing compared to the desaturated shapes around it. And I think this system of sending hundreds and hundreds of queries to agents has created a vicious cycle where people try to continually be more and more and more unique. And it doesn't seem like they try to be unique based on their writing style or the ideas they are writing about. This type of uniqueness I see seems more manufactured. It looks like uniqueness for the sake of a uniqueness, and uniqueness without substance carries no weight. So I have two ways in which I think we should shift our paradigm on hooks. The first is that hooks should be based on ideas and our natural writing style. It is the case that some people are such good writers that they don't have to think about hooks that much. Somehow they've learned how to write to such an excellent degree that their writing beautifully carries any idea that they want to present. I don't just say this because I'm a writing elitist, though I am one. I say this because if you are one of the best writers in the world, people will naturally want to read your writing. If you don't think you're the best writer in the world, and even if you do, I think that you should focus on the ideas you are presenting. And if you are focusing on the ideas you are presenting, this means you actually have to come up with interesting ideas. And if you want to come up with interesting ideas, you might actually need to put some thought into them. I think most writers agree with me on this aspect. Even if you aren't the best writer, your ideas can propel a story forward to greatness. And it isn't just because these ideas are unique. Take Harry Potter, for example. Few things are extremely unique. The storytelling isn't crazy. The writing isn't mind-blowing. But no author has made more money and perhaps has not had as big of an impact as Rowling. And again, that was because of her ideas and how she implemented those ideas. The second paradigm shift I think we should adopt is that we don't see hooks as just something we apply at the beginning of a book or even at the beginning of a chapter. If we go back to that basic idea of a hook, we can see it as something that grabs the reader's attention and makes the reader want to read more. Well, shouldn't we apply that same idea to our whole entire story? Shouldn't we apply it to every chapter, to every section, to every paragraph? I think those people who disagree with me would be the ones who are trying to make the beginning of their story as unique as possible. But if we shift our idea of a hook away from uniqueness and toward the beauty of writing and the ideas behind that writing, it becomes easier to see how we could take this idea of a hook and apply it to every single paragraph and avoid the monstrosity of bizarre writing we see at the beginning of some books. Now, of course, this isn't the end of writing. Writing is far more complex than just the idea of a hook. But shifting how we approach the idea of a hook, especially in the way I suggest, can affect every little section of our writing down to individual paragraphs. If you want to know more ideas and details that go into writing hooks, I have a link below to another video on that topic. If you enjoyed this, you're probably wondering how you can support me. Well, you can actually do two simple things. Follow the first link below to grab a copy of my book, and then follow the second link and sign up for my newsletter. It's that simple. Those two things will mean the world to me and give me more time to write books and create content for you. As always, my name is Daniel Poppy, and this is How to Write Good.